So in this segment, we're going to take a look at everything you can do in the move request module. Again, here you have all the different functions you can perform. You can do filters, you can create a new request, you can open an existing request, and if you click on the three dots, you can export a move list, you can execute moves. This is what we call the one-click way to move people that a request has come in to move them with. And you can also generate a work order to make other things happen depending on the nature of the move that you're trying to execute. For purposes of this video, we're going to assume that you know how to use the filters in Evolve to take any grid that you have and filter out down to the actual data you want to work with in a given situation. So we're not going to go through this to any great detail this morning. In addition to being able to create new requests here by clicking on the new button, which opens specifically a move request, and you'll notice that the difference between this and any other work request is that it's pre-configured to show up with a category of move management and a request class of move add change. And what that really does here is it changes the information in this part of the panel to make you include the move from property building floor space or asset to the move to property building floor space location kinds of things. You have the option of assigning a job, assigning a target date, and as with any form in Evolve, there are certain required fields and they're delineated by the red asterisk, and that means if you don't put anything here, in this case in the description column, this request is not savable. So make sure that you put something in the description here to define it before you try to save that request. As you look at the grid here, we'll look at the status column for a minute and see that we have opens, we have rejected, meaning that we've kicked these back because we're not going to do anything with them. We have issueds, and we have assigned. And the thing to understand here is that an open work request is one that I can double click on to open up, and all these functions up here are available as far as dates and whether I want to hold it, whether I want to reject it, assign it, etc. So these functions are available to me. However, if I come down here to any of these that have been issued or signed, that essentially means that a work order has been created. So these have kind of moved on. So they're still here in the list, but their classification here, their status tells you that these items here are grayed out. So there's nothing you can do to edit this request now. Once you've created a work order from a request, you've got to do your editing in the work order itself, not in the request. So always keep that in mind. If you happen to open one of these and you think you want to edit it and you can't get at anything, it's because a work order has been issued and you need to go to that work order and do whatever you wanted to do to add information in that work order. Double clicking on an open status request will let you be able to assign labor, assign a supervisor, reject the work request, put it on hold, and also to change certain dates. Keep in mind that any of these items here, these first two, has the effect of creating a work order. And so now you are essentially moving this thing out of request status, and its status would change from open to issued, and it would become uneditable as a work request anymore. So the effect of assigning anything here is really moving that request on down the line to have it acted upon. Just a little note on grids here. As you know, when you come over to this section of a grid, you can click and see all the columns, and you can see what columns are displayed across the grid, and scroll all the way down and get a feel for what's being displayed here. And these columns represent what's actually all the fields in the request form. So if I were to click this off and go to any of the open request here, and you were to look at all the fields in this request, you can kind of get the sense that everything that's in here that you can edit shows up as a field across the grid. And one other item regarding grids, just a reminder that you know that you can drag columns around to organize the grid the way you want it, and you can also control what fields you see or not see by checking and unchecking them, so you can build a view of the information that makes sense to you for the kind of work you're doing with this particular grid, and then you can save that view with the in the filters area so that it becomes the default view that comes in whenever you open move request in the moves module. So with that, we'll go over to our more actions button, and we'll take a look at export list, which is pretty self-explanatory. Clicking this will generate an Excel spreadsheet with all the information that's in this grid. So one of the other things you can do from the move actions selection is execute a move. So I've highlighted Stephanie Smith here, who a request has been made to move her out of the space she's in. And if I click on execute moves right here, what will happen is this request will start a dialog here where I can use the target date or today or another date. And this date box here only becomes active if I pick another date, because either the target date's already in there or I want to do it today. In this case, the target date is today, so I can say that. And the action here is, since it's missing a move to, the only activity here is moving this person out. So maybe this person has left the company and we're just opening up that space for other use. So in this case, it's a move out. So if I click next here, what's going to happen is we get a execute moves notice that this move is complete and that Stephanie Smith has been moved out of her space. And that's as easy as it can be to create a move with a record in the system that somebody got moved out on a given date. So that request has been processed and that person's been moved out, and we have some documentation in the system that that event has happened. And you notice that Stephanie has disappeared from the list here because that move's been executed. So this list is designed to show us all the active requests that are going on, and the act of closing that request removed her from the list, or her request from the list. And this pretty much covers all the essential functions that are available to you when you're in the move requests component of the moves module.